And good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this dreary Friday. I am going to turn it on over to Shalimar to preside on the beginning of the meeting.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. It's great to see you all.
Good morning.
All right, so welcome to today's Philadelphia Commission of Human Relations public session taking place today, February 17, 2023. Can we start the meeting with approval of the meeting minutes? Any corrections? All right, no corrections noted. I move that we accept the minutes as they are submitted into the record. Next up are the cases recommended for closing. I will ask for recusals after I finish reading the cases. The cases recommended for closing under employment are as follows. Arlena Hayes versus Trustees of the University of Pennsylvania doing business as Hospital of the University of Pennsylvania. Brendan Hall versus Snapbox Self-Storage. Eric Green versus Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. Melissa Anderson McDonald versus Mastery Charter School. Stephen Richburg versus Wawa Incorporated. Christina Amelotti versus Drexel University. Chief Eileen Burr and Captain Patrick Henry. Tizina Simmons Rose versus Special People in Northeast Incorporated. Spin. Ashanti Wallace versus Dunkin' Donuts. Under housing, we have Anna Minkovich versus Dorchester Condominium Association Council. Cornelio Vidro versus Rafael Swiakowicz and Wagner Swiakowicz. Phyllis Blackney versus Rafael Swiakowicz and Wagner Swiakowicz. Deshaun Lamar Butterfield versus Scotty Williamson. Brian C. Singleton versus Charles Johnson and Beverly Johnson. And under Ban the Box, we have Stephen Richburg versus Wawa Incorporated and Jermaine Piag versus J. Mac Concessions, LLC. Any recusals?
Good morning. I have two recusals on employment number 5 and Ban the Box number 1.
I have a recusal, case number 1 in employment.
Thank you. All right, recusals have been noted. Can I have a motion to accept the cases? Second. Okay, I see the motion was made by Commissioner Alpert and second by Commissioner Loren. All in favor? Thank you. The cases for the month of February have been accepted. And with that, I will turn the meeting over to Kia for her executive director's report. Hi, Kia.
All right, thank you, Shalimar. A few updates to share regarding this reporting period. I will start with our compliance team and give a special kudos to Deputy Director Pamela Gwaltney and Attorney Karen Foreman and the compliance team who was able to secure a payment of $7,500 through a mediation for a complainant in a discrimination complaint. So thank you for your hard work on that. Next, with community engagement, prevention, and education, we have several updates. HR Representative Tiara Thompson provided an overview of PCHR's conflict resolution services at the Philadelphia School District's West Regional Safety Meeting. As you all may remember, there's been an uptick in gun violence incidents over at Overbrook High School, which is in the West Philadelphia area. So we are very thankful that Tiara is able to explain what the additional services that we offer through our on-site program at school districts. On February 4th, HR Representative Abigail Sue conducted a public safety and bias awareness presentation at the Northeast Philadelphia Chinese Association's award and safety meeting. And then on February 6th, PCHR convened a meeting of department leadership for the Community Resilience Early Warning System project. That is a project that we've been working on for the last year to help identify some risk and protective factors associated or correlated with violence and hate in Philadelphia. The next step has been to meet with leadership throughout the city to help them to see what the report has uncovered, and also to be able to mobilize our resources to make changes in Philadelphia. And then yesterday, we convened the Philadelphia Interagency Civil Rights Task Force. And the focus of that discussion was how do we use our collective resources, whether they be state, local law enforcement, or community partners, to impact a better infrastructure to respond to hate and bias issues in Philadelphia. So the partners in attendance included the state police, the FBI, the U.S. Attorney's Office, the Department of Justice, Community Relations Services Bureau, Philadelphia Police, Town Watch Integrated Services, the ADL, AJC, CARE, and the Office of LGBTQ Affairs. In terms of conflict responses, as some of you already know, we have been working directly with St. Hubert's in the aftermath of the viral anti-Black racist video that has been shown on social media. Randy Duque, Deputy Director Randy Duque, and myself met with leadership for St. Hubert's, and we conducted a needs assessment to identify what, if any, resources are needed, what, if any, challenges are existing within their school programming that may leave voids for students of color. And at this point, we are satisfied with our review that they are taking the steps necessary to ensure that there is an inclusive school environment. They've also conducted a full investigation and taken the necessary disciplinary steps that they need to. We are working now at this point to help to unify some of the community tensions that have arisen in that community in the Northeast. And so with that being said, we have our community relations staff that are in touch with Franklin Town Charter School, as well as St. Hubert's, to ensure that there is some coordination with their outreach efforts for the community. We've also been in conversation about several different targeted outreach activities that we will be facilitating in collaboration with St. Hubert's to try and bring about some unity in the Northeast community, which additional details will follow shortly. With that said, we have one additional conflict response that I wanted to share, which is that HR Representative Boonrat Mott and Deputy Director Randy Duque are also working on a mediation to resolve some discriminatory issues that have arisen at a local school involving a property manager and other staff at the school. Some noteworthy events that I want to share for this reporting period. On January 26th, PCHR attorney Karen Foreman presented information to the Pennsylvania, or is it Philadelphia? I always get confused. Philadelphia Corporation for the Aging regarding the protections offered through the Fair Practices Ordinance for age discrimination and other types of discrimination. And we certainly appreciate Karen and her efforts to educate the public on what it is we do. She presented alongside our federal partner, the EEOC. So thank you, Karen, for that. On January 26th, I accompanied the mayor to the premiere of Rebuilt from Broken Glass, a conversation with 96-year-old Holocaust survivor Fred Barron. The screening occurred at the Weitzman National Museum of American Jewish History, and it was a great opportunity to once again remember the history of Jewish people and to advocate for unity and to stand united against hate. We will be doing some activities with Fred Barron in response to some conflict that we've observed at local high schools. So additional information will be forthcoming about that as well. All right. And then on February 15th, Deputy Director Randy Duque participated in a panel lending his expertise as a mediator in the Becoming a Mediator panel for the Philadelphia Bar Association. So thank you, Randy, for that and representing the agency. Upcoming events for the next month or so. On February 23rd, HR Representative David Oliver will be participating in the annual Male Leadership Forum at Dobbins High School. And the goal of that program is to encourage young men to develop positive self-image, strong resolve, discipline, and career focus. On March 30th, we will be working with the Office of LGBTQ Affairs to present a Discrimination 101 presentation specifically geared towards the trans community. And we will be working alongside the Office of LGBTQ Affairs as they present their guidance for supporting employees who are transitioning. So we are excited to be offering that to Philadelphia employers. That will be a Zoom meeting that will occur at 9:30. And again, additional details will follow shortly. And then finally, on March 31st, we will be participating with the Office of LGBTQ Affairs at their flag raising ceremony for the Trans Day of Visibility on March 31st. With that said, I will conclude my report by going through really briefly some of the hate and bias data that we've collected for the month. There were 11 confirmed incidents of hate reported to our office through January 31st. And most of those incidents centered on religious, racial, or anti-LGBTQ hate. In terms of just a brief summary, in terms of the religious incidents, there was an unknown offender who wrote an anti-Jewish slur on the home of a resident here. Also, there was a man walking a dog who approached a woman at a park and yelled racial slurs in her face. From what we understand, those slurs were both Islamophobic and that related to her national origin. And then we also had a person threaten violence against an ex-partner's husband because they were Muslim. In terms of the racial incidents, it ranged through, again, slurs as well as threats. We had a man that had written KKK on the front of another resident's door. The police in the Northeast have received anonymous letters that were that had racially motivated hate. An elderly white woman walking her dog was threatened by another female with a knife, stating that they would kill the woman and the dog. Northeast High School, a high school in the Northeast, not Northeast High School, received an anonymous letter with racially motivated hate. There was also an elderly woman taken into custody after physically attacking her Black neighbor and calling her the N-word, along with other racial slurs. And then finally, there was a white male who threatened an Asian couple, telling them to go back to their home. In terms of LGBTQ incident that was reported, we had an offender, we were notified of an offender arrested for physically assaulting a man while exiting a SEPTA station and calling him an anti-gay slur. For all of those incidents, our team has been connected with the police department's community relations team, and we are actively monitoring those situations, providing support to victims as necessary, and working to connect victims with additional resources. With that being said, that will conclude my report. And I'll turn it back over to you, Shalimar.
Thank you, Kia, and thank you to your team for being all over the city, just doing great work in the community, both inside and outside of the office. So it's great to hear that and to see that. Any questions for Kia? Commissioner Austin?
I'm wondering if there's some way to alert the public to the increased incidence of these kinds of acts of hate, and to suggest that the PCHR is interested in providing support for people, as well as alerting the community to what constitutes hate and what we need to do in order to make Philadelphia a more neighborly place. I mean, I don't know whether there's some organization of people who are engaged in public relations or ads or whatever, that we might ask if they would be willing to do a PSA for us on that subject.
Yeah, well, two things. I think it was really good that the symposium that we had last month, the PUSH symposium, just to educate the public in general on the trends that we're seeing for hate in the Philadelphia region. Based on the feedback that we've gotten from the public, that was very helpful, and from our partners as well. But I do think there does need to be an ongoing spotlight. And so we have, we were just in talks yesterday about other PSAs that we are trying to create as part of our targeted outreach strategy. So we certainly can ask the city's OIT department to include that as one of the focuses for the PSAs. So thank you for raising that.
And Kia, to that point, I was thinking maybe an op-ed or something can be done. And I'm more than happy to make an introduction if you're interested to some folks over at the Inquirer.
Yes.
Okay.
Certainly, we can speak offline about that, but sure, definitely.
That's a great idea. Thank you, Shalimar. Thank you, Regina.
Yeah.
Any other questions? All right. Our next meeting.
I guess I do have one question. This is just a scheduling thing. A while back, I think Pam and maybe Karen had sent a list of possible dates for hearings. At the time, I didn't respond because there were a lot of moving parts in my spring semester. And now that our dean search is coming to, we have the finalists, so there's less time for that now. I know better what my schedule is. Do you want us to still respond, or are those dates now outdated and should not respond? This is going back a ways. I can ask.
I
later.
believe we can still respond. We're still using that, and we will
Okay.
work with you to add your schedule to our calendar. So thank you.
Okay, all right, thanks.
All right. Well, if there are no further questions, then I will turn it back over to Commissioner Thomas.
All right, thank you. Thanks, everybody. Our next set of meetings will take place in March. The executive session is scheduled to take place on March 10, and the public session will be held on March 17, 2023. The readers for the month of March are myself, along with Commissioners Ricks, Zulfikar, and Poe. With that, can I have a motion to adjourn? Second, thank you. I see it. Motion by Commissioner Ricks and second by Commissioner Ho. All in favor? Thank you. Meeting adjourned, and I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend.
All right. Have a great weekend, everyone. Take care.